into the day with the dawn ringing in my ears. Oh, well, I tune into my TV show. No better way, I gotta get myself into gear. Let's go. Oh, and I feel good today with my wake up in the morning espresso. I feel good today. It's my feel good breakfast show.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to your Feel Good Breakfast Show Expresso right here on SABC3. It's a Wednesday. It's sailing downhill to the weekend. Good morning. Kat, what's up, brother?
People, how are you guys doing?
Nice to see you, boy.
Good to be back, man.
Yeah, man. Lekker. What's happening?
There's a lot happening in your Feel Good Breakfast Show this morning.
This morning, yes. We have parenting coach Laura Markovitz with us in studio. And this morning, it's all about the importance of resting during the school holidays, especially after those June exams. I think a lot of kids are looking forward to the holidays.
Yeah. It's a charge until the end of the year now. The second half of the year is the big one, man.
But is it now about the parents resting or the children resting?
The children.
Okay, so parents
could go to work, yo.
No, it's not for you. And then we also have the Kronendal Music Academy Jazz Band playing for us this morning. They are getting ready, looking slightly tired. I don't know when last they woke up this early, but it's going to be a great performance and I'm looking forward to it indeed.
Then I think one of the most influential speakers I've seen, and he's an incredible author as well, John Sanai, is on the show talking about his new book, Magnetized. But he is going to paint a picture of the world that we live in at the moment that is going to blow your mind. Trend forecaster, genius, just an awesome
he understands it very, very well.
Yeah, man.
The world that we don't see. On it. The world that we don't see. But listen, hey, this weekend is a big one. Not only is it Youth Day on Saturday, it's also Father's Day on Sunday. Yes, Father's Day on Sunday. And what do you get Dad for gifts? You know, if you want to run up there and maybe spoil and make his day, we're going to run you through some very cool gifting ideas.
School holidays, that's what you get, Dad.
Season tickets to every English Premier League game he wants to watch for the rest of his life. That is the ideal gift for Dad.
Man, that's going to be great.
It might be someone out there just
dream it up, put it out in the universe. Oh, anyway, guys, let's get the day underway and take a look at those headlines of the morning. Leanne delivering them to us.
Good morning, team, and a very good morning to you at home. Let's get you updated on what's happening in the news. An Eskom spokesperson says messages doing the rounds on social media warning of power cuts tomorrow to coincide with a confirmed one-day strike are false. Kulu Pasiwe says the strike will be illegal as the power utility has been declared an essential service provider. At a joint meeting conference yesterday, the National Union of Mine Workers and the National Union of Metal Workers said the unions would only go on strike if the law so permits. They are demanding a 15% salary increase and a housing allowance increase of 2,000 rand. Hundreds of security guards working in the money transportation industry marched in major cities across South Africa yesterday after a spate of brazen heists that have rocked the industry and the country in recent months. They are calling for more visible policing, increased reaction times to robberies and more effective intelligence gathering. The scourge of cash-in-transit robberies reached a boiling point last week, with Police Minister Bheki Cele announcing new plans to bring down the well-organized and heavily armed gangs carrying out the heists. Now moving further abroad, a tree regarded as the icon of the African savanna is dying in mysterious circumstances. International scientists have discovered that most of the oldest and largest African baobab trees have died over the past 12 years. They suspect the demise may be linked to climate change. The tree can grow to an enormous size and may live hundreds, if not thousands of years. The researchers from universities in South Africa, Romania and the US say the loss of the trees is an event of unprecedented magnitude. And then finally, US President Donald Trump says his historic talks with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un that ended in a joint agreement were tremendous. The signed document includes a pledge from Kim to rid the Korean peninsula of nuclear weapons. But in an extraordinary media conference later, Trump announced details not in the paper. He said he would halt US military exercises in South Korea, something widely seen as a concession. The meeting was the first time a sitting US president had met North Korea's leader and caps a remarkable turnaround for the two. Well, that was your 6 o'clock news update. Let's get our very first look at what's happening in the world of sport. Here's Graham.
Let's start with the bad news first. Kick it off with rugby. South Africa's run to the Under-20 Rugby World Championship final came to an end last night as they suffered an agonising 32-31 loss to England in the semi-finals. England's strength was shown in the first half as 3 unanswered tries put them 19-0 ahead. And despite the Baby Boks scoring 5 tries in their comeback and a stellar performance from the forwards, it was too little too late as England held on for a 1-point victory. In some other results, France beat New Zealand by 16 points to 7, while Australia saw out a crushing 44-15 win over Italy. Then on to cricket. The Protea women's cricket team fell to a 69-run defeat to England in Hove, East Sussex yesterday. Saw their 3-match series now tied up at 1 apiece. Centuries from Tammy Beaumont and Sarah Taylor helping England post 331 for 6 in their 50 overs. In reply, South Africa put up a fight but fell short as they ran out of overs on 262 for the loss of 9. So with the series tied at 1, the third ODI takes place this coming Friday to decide the series. Then on to football. The final round of international friendlies before the World Cup took place last night, and it saw wins for Poland and Japan. In Warsaw, Poland showed off their talent as 2 goals from Robert Lewandowski saw off Lithuania by 4 goals to 0. While over in Austria, Japan beat Paraguay by 4 goals to 2. So with the international friendlies done and dusted, the 2018 Soccer World Cup kicks off tomorrow as hosts Russia tackle Saudi Arabia. Then on to football news off the pitch. European football giants Real Madrid have named Julen Lopetegui as their new head coach. As the current head coach of the Spanish national team, Lopetegui will join Madrid next season following the departure, of course, of Zinedine Zidane, who won 9 trophies with Madrid since taking over as coach back in 2016. Lopetegui's first chance of a trophy with Real Madrid will come on the 15th of August next year as Real tackle Atletico Madrid in the UEFA Super Cup. That's where we leave our sport for now.
All right, let's quickly take a look at your weather for the very first time. It's just after 6 o'clock on your Wednesday morning, and it looks like most parts of the country can expect moderate to warm temperatures, and that's as a result of that cold front that is moving in, that's expected to hit over the Western Cape tomorrow, hopefully bringing with it lots and lots of rain. But for today, let's look at your temperatures very quickly. Polokwane starting off on 5 minimum, reaching a high of 20. Mbombela 9 and a high of 26. Pretoria 5, 18. Johannesburg 4 and a high of 17 degrees. Mahikeng 420. Klerksdorp on 3 minimum with a maximum 19. Kimberley 520. Bloemfontein still starting off on around 0 this morning, reaching a high of 18. Richards Bay 14.26. Pietermaritzburg 8.25. Durban 15.25. Ndata on 4 minimum, reaching a high of 24. East London 17.30. Cradock 5.23. Port Elizabeth starting off on 13, reaching a high of 26 degrees. George 17.28. Sutherland 7 and a high of 17. Cape Town 12.23. Worcester today 11, reaching a high of 26 degrees. Springbok 9.26 and Uppington on 10 minimum, reaching a high of 24 degrees. As a wrap of your weather and your temperatures for the 6 o'clock bulletin, we'll keep you updated. As always, I'm back just after 6:30 with another update.
So in case you needed a reminder, today is Wednesday, the 13th of June, and since we're living in a world that is constantly changing and life seems to be getting faster, we thought we're going to put on the brakes and take a look at what happened in history on this day.
Yeah, it is the 13th of June, luckily not a Friday, but on this day in 1983, NASA's Pioneer 10 becomes the first man-made object to leave the solar system. And that's a very, very long distance to travel to leave the solar system.
Very interesting. And then in 2005, South African engineer Nuno Gomes entered the Guinness Book of Records for mankind's deepest diver ever. Now, he plunged 318.25 meters, beating the record that was 313 set by Mark Elliott in Thailand back in 2003.
Luckily, he didn't have to hold his breath all on his own.
No.
And also on the 13th of June in 1976, just days before the student uprisings in Soweto, the action committee titled the Soweto Students Representative Council was formed to organize the demonstrations with 2 representatives from each school. So quite a historic day indeed today.
And quite a historic week leading up to Youth Day coming up. But that was our bite-sized dose of history, so why don't you go out today, seize the day and make it one for the books.
Someone who is seizing this day and every day, and I would imagine many in the future, Trey Hunter-Patten, a young golfer, is already making a name for himself abroad. We're going to introduce you to this phenom in just a moment.
Exactly, and then we're going to talk about the importance of resting during the school holiday. You need to rest. We'll be right back after the break.
quick run through. You're gonna set up your mic now. You guys can run through. Just keep going. He's gonna give you on that side. One, two.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso right here on SABC3. Let's head to the socials with our very first post of the morning. What are these boys up to? Let's take a look. We asked you this morning from Mpokolo to boiling eggs. What was the very first thing you learned to cook all by yourself? And what is one dish that you love to master? Let's see what you had to say. Nathan Paul saying, hey guys, I learned first how to make eggs, of course, and really want to learn how to cook mom's curry and lasagna recipe. Yes, curry is levels. Rena says, the first thing I made was spaghetti. Very nice. Ramakono says, I learned how to cook traditional 7 colors and common dessert. And then says, I learned to cook porridge. Nikiwe says, good morning. I dare you guys to say mpokoko fast repeatedly. Phew, that is going to be a challenge. I definitely want to see how well Graham and Zoe and of course Ewan can do it. Cat's good.
Why you gotta be like that, Leanne? Why you gotta put positions or people in positions like that? Anyway, onward to other news. Now, South African sports fans always have something to cheer about thanks to the abundance of talented athletes that we have across all sporting codes. And one such talent is 8-year-old golfer Trey Hunter Pathan, who joins us this morning. Now, last month, with the help of Turkish Airlines, Trey and his dad/caddy, David, took part in the European Kids Golf Championship in Scotland, where the young South African placed in the top 10, something that is definitely deserving of this entire studio's applause. Ladies and gentlemen, Trey is in the house. So good to have you guys here, and good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Trey, congratulations, brother.
Thank you.
You did so well. How was Scotland?
It was beautiful. Everybody was friendly.
That's amazing. And you said you were there for how long? For 10 days?
For 10 days.
That's amazing. And the golf was good too, right?
Yes.
You enjoyed it. And David, you must be so, so proud of the performance that he put in. Check out that picture there with the high fives. And already with the incredible talent he's showing right now, what else do you think lies ahead in this young man's bright future in golf?
Well, you know, we just wish that he continues.
Yeah.
He's a kid, so first and foremost,
Yes.
we would love for him to remain being a kid and have that balance in his life. But also, we would like for him to excel at the sport.
Yeah.
And as you know, kids can change their minds going forward. So we hope that in the future, Trey just loves the sport as he does right now and continues to love it.
Absolutely.
And that's all that we can ask from him, you know.
And we've also got with us, of course, Mr. Trevor Brown, Corporate Sales Manager at Turkish Airlines South Africa, that played a crucial part in making all of this happen because you sponsored David and Trey to go all the way to Scotland. So tell us about how this partnership came about and why you decided to make it possible for them.
Thanks. Good morning, Katreko. Yeah, actually, it's quite an amazing story. We were just so fortunate at Turkish Airlines to hear about Trey's incredible story. You know, we hold an annual golf day every year, a corporate golf day, and it just happened to be that one of David's friends were there telling us about the story of Trey.
Yeah.
Of course, I mean, that left us with no choice but to just, you know, jump in and grab the opportunity with both hands. If you watch Trey playing, it's an incredible story, and he's got such an amazing swing. We think he's going to go, you know, many places.
Oh,
he's going to go a long way. Yeah.
He's even got that swivel at the end, just let it roll down the hands, reading the greens.
Yeah.
Trey, tell me, what do you love the most about playing golf? What do you enjoy when you're out there on the course?
Meeting new friends.
Meeting new friends.
Meeting new friends, yeah?
Yeah.
And do you have a favorite club? Does he have a favorite club in his bag?
Yes, my putter.
Your putter.
Tell him why.
Why?
Because if you can't.
Because if you can't putt, you can't win tournaments.
Oh, come on, spoken like a true champion. Take that, put that on your Twitter timeline. If you can't putt, you can't win tournaments. And also, Trevor, then it is very, very important for you as a brand to assist young South African athletes. Why have you made that part of your mission and your mandate?
Well, in the Turkish culture and Turkish Airlines also, the family unit is very, very important.
Yeah.
And we think children, you know, as we all know, are the future. It's very important to look after children, to take care of them. And if there's some talent that comes along, you need to nurture that talent.
Yeah.
Anybody that's made it, whether it's in arts or whether it's in sport, has had a little push along the way. And I think it's important for companies in South Africa to just get on board and do their little bit.
Absolutely.
And that's the spirit of Ubuntu, isn't it?
Absolutely, and you've shown the way. We know it takes a village, and you are certainly a big part of that village. David, finally, as we move towards Father's Day, I want you to give all the dads out there advice about helping a young man or a young lady like Trey to pursue their talents also while helping them be a kid. I mean, playing the father role, but also motivating them. What's the best way to do that you found?
Just allow them to do what they love, you know. Trey's able to switch between just being a normal kid playing PlayStation and marbles at home to walking through the gates at a golf club or a practice range and then becoming a golf machine. So, I mean, he spends hours there, and we just have to invest in that time, allow him to spend that hours and do what he loves, do what he enjoys. And I think if you nurture that, just let your kids be, allow them to enjoy and run free, and that brings out the best in them.
Yeah, well, we absolutely appreciate your time. Thank you very much for being here. Trey, can I please shake your hand so I can say on national TV, I've shook the hand of a future champion. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And also, look, you got to look at, you see that red light over there? Yes. Look at it. Say hi to your grandmother and tell her that you love her. There.
So, hello, Mimi.
Hello, Mimi.
I love you, Mimi.
I love you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Trey Hunter-Bethel in the studio. Yes, future champions.
Adorable.
Forget about if you can't putt, you can't win tournaments. If you don't love your grandmother, okay, you can't win tournaments.
You can't win in
What a
life in general.
superstar, man.
All right, well, it's
Love
time for
that
us to
kid.
get into a game that we all know and love very much. It's our emoji charades game, and what we do is we give you a whole set of emojis. You have to decide, is it a movie, is it a song, is it a TV show? And then, of course, just to help you along, we've got some clues along. So we know that there's a musical note, so it's a song. There's 2 words in the title. There's a finger that's doing this, and then a kiss. I have
winky,
no
smoochy
idea
face.
what it could mean, but maybe the clues will help us.
I don't know, man. I've been going, I still haven't got it. This is a single from a Scottish record producer's 6 studio albums. There's only really one massive Scottish producer out there at the moment. No offense to all the other Scottish producers.
We still love you.
It features an English female vocalist on the track as well. And since its release, it's become the longest running #1 by a lead female artist in the UK for this entire decade. Do you think you've got it now?
Yes,
Hey?
I think I may.
You think I may, but I'm glad we haven't made it too easy for you this morning. So there are your emojis. We've given you the clues. Go and start searching online now, and you can guess. Hit us up on our Expresso Morning Show Facebook page if you know the answer for our emoji charades
And use
game.
the hashtag Expresso Show. Charades?
Charades.
Don't forget that hashtag Expresso Show. Right now, though, school learners across the country have been very hard at work during the June exams. And with schools closing in a week's time, learners will soon get to enjoy a well-deserved break from the academics. Now, in studio today, we're joined by certified parent coach Laura Markovitz to talk about the importance of school learners relaxing and taking that break from the books during the winter holidays. Laura, thank you very much for joining us. Good to see you again, man.
Well, it's good to be back.
Yeah. So I can't believe it. The year is flying. We're halfway through it now. The second part of year still now lies ahead for the learners, which I think they need to be refreshed for. So very, very important topic. Why, in your opinion, is it so important to kind of decompress at this stage after the exams?
Yeah, I think it's so important, and I'm so glad we're talking about this because we often focus on kind of the before the exam stuff, the during the exam stuff, and it's so important that we look at, well, what happens now? And as you said, we need that time to kind of relieve the pressure. These kids have been in a highly pressured environment, and they need some time to take time off, to relax, to get in touch with what they love doing, as I said earlier with the young golfer, and to get into a state where they do feel replenished and are ready to take on the next chapter.
Now, when it comes to relaxing during the school holidays, I can just take myself back and think, after going through an exam run like that, you're tired, you're mentally tired, you're physically tired. So the only thing I was looking forward was kind of like vegging on the couch. Just like, it's here, I can relax. Is that a good thing, or should we try and find other ways to kind of relax?
I laugh because I was chatting about this yesterday with my son and his friend, and he said, "Oh, Laura, please tell them we're allowed to play PlayStation the whole holidays."
Yes.
So I said, sorry. So absolutely, there's a place for vegging out, and we need that. what would be great is if during the school holidays, kids have been able to endure that time in a more balanced way, so that they haven't had to completely switch off and focus on the academics absolutely completely, that they've had some other time to wind down, to have a more balanced time, so that it isn't kind of going from 100 to zero. And there's actually something called the letdown effect, which often happens, we kind of keep it together in highly pressured times during exams or work, adults with work stuff, and then suddenly the pressure's off and we find that people get sick, they get run down.
I battle with that, I must be honest.
Absolutely, and that's quite a common phenomenon. Yeah. And what's happening is we've got hormones that kind of keep us in check and keep our immune systems in check during the pressured environment, but as soon as we kind of switch off, those kind of let down and our body allows things to come in. So what's quite nice is to think about not the complete and utter vegging out in front of a
still
TV.
Get out, still
but
go do
get
things,
out, do things, get outside, stay stimulated in other ways, read, play with your friends in a creative way, hang out socially, do things that aren't, that you're not just going from 0 to 100 and 100 to 0.
Absolutely, but once again, I think parents need to step in here and say, I know you're tired, I know, but let's go do something fun, let's do something that you enjoy. Quick question, I'm always kind of scared to ask it because I'm going to probably hated by every single student across the country at this stage, but can you use this winter holidays to prepare for the third term? Are we talking about academics or are we really just talking about a mindset here?
So, absolutely. I mean, I think each child is different. And I always say you've got to look at each child and what their needs are. If you've had a rough time during these June holidays, here is a time where there isn't a lot of pressure, you're on holiday. If you take a little bit of time to kind of revise and do the things that you were finding difficult, not in a pressured environment now, that can obviously be very helpful. However, it is equally important, and in some ways more important, that they do have time to switch off as well, and that they're not spending their holidays absolutely sitting at the books and having no downtime at all, because that's absolutely counterproductive, leads to burnout, adds to anxiety, and isn't going to be putting them in a good position to take the next chapter forward.
So you really want to prepare yourself physically, mentally by doing things that you enjoy other than schoolwork, something else. Take a break.
Absolutely.
That's what don't veg though. Don't veg though. Laura, thank you very much. She is going to be back a little bit later on as we will continuing with this subject, this very important subject of rest during the holidays.
All right, well, stay tuned to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Still lots more to come. After a very short break, we talked to Eric Vermeulen and the ever-inspirational Sis Letshego Zulu about the 7.2 degrees challenge, summiting some of the world's highest peaks.
And people are doing incredible things, including Sean and Robert, who's doing the 60-kilometer fundraiser. It's the island to base. Now, what they have to do is swim through the Robben Island Canal, which is 7 kilometers, before attempting a 53-kilometer run. It's absolutely crazy, but it's all for the name of charity, and we'll be connecting with them after the break.
All in one day, like at the same time after each other. Wow.
A moment of with a new McAfee white mocha.
Welcome back, you beautiful souls. You are live with Expresso. Thank you so much for tuning in. South Africa is filled with unbelievably inspiring people. That's the best part of our job here on the show. And we are joined by two such people this morning in December this year. Adventurers and mildly crazy people, Eric Vermeulen and Letshego Zulu, will attempt to set a new world record for a challenge known as the Adventurers Grand Slam. Their 7.2 degrees record attempt will see them summit the highest mountain peaks of each of the 7 continents. And that also includes just a paltry little walk to the South Pole in under 138 days, because that's the record. Eric, Letshego, so good to have you here. I'm getting a little bit nervous, and I feel bad because when I meet adventurers who are on the cusp of doing something that's truly great like this, I kind of feel like I get your heart beating, but this is surely an adventure worth a racing pulse. How are you feeling, first of all? Has it sunk in what you are actually doing, or is it all about the training at the moment?
Well, I get constantly asked on a daily basis, do you know what you're getting yourself into? And I say yes, because you know what? I'm one of those people that believes that you only live once,
100%.
And why not?
I love it. And just to throw in a world record as well, so set the scene for us. No one has done this before in terms of the time that you are going for. Is this something achievable, or is it kind of a, well, let's hopefully get there? Give us the realities of the situation.
I think it's a bit of both. And I think there's a lot of stuff that we can control and manage, and there's a lot of stuff that we can't control and manage. So having a look at the current record, there are 2 fairly big gaps of around 40 days. We can understand why there's one 40-day gap. That's the acclimatization and prep for Everest. We're not sure why there's a second 40-day gap. So, you know,
it's called reality sinking in.
It's probably just recovery from the previous stuff. So, you know, we're looking at trying to do as much as possible, as early as possible in the whole attempt, which will then leave us leeway for weather, recovery, and that sort of thing.
You guys are going to have to rely so much on each other,
Absolutely.
in my experience, interviewing adventurers like this. But you will become a standalone person in the fact that you'll be the first South African woman to do this. How did this all come about? Did you just wake up one morning and think, okay, I need to do this? How does one even engage the 7 summits as a feat?
I knew that one day I would want to attempt Everest. I didn't know that I would want to attempt 7 summits and 2 degrees all at once. I got a call from Eric a couple of months ago, and when he put the idea on the table, I thought, well, why not? You know, let's see if this is possible. We've got good support in terms of all the planning, so hopefully we can pull this off.
Logistics is vitally important. I know that, so that you can focus on, and I'm going to call it a race because you really are kind of racing to achieve something. I know you're incredibly fit, and I think every time we've connected in the industry, it's always been doing something crazy and physical. Yeah. How do you prepare for something like this when so much of it is unknown?
Look, I mean, I think both of us still have a lot of stuff that's happening before we leave on 7.2. So we're just trying to maintain a base fitness, a lot of core strength. And at
ice baths.
No, we'll be doing a lot of that.
And putting on weight.
But yeah, Letsego's under strict instructions to put on at least 10 kilograms. But it's more around understanding how your body is going to respond, and it's about mental strength more than it is physical preparation. And that really is the key. You can't train for acclimatization.
Yeah.
I mean, as human beings, we all have the ability to acclimatize and do stuff like this. The rate at which we acclimatize just varies for everybody.
And there's some big, strong guys who have been taken down by Kili by, nowhere near Mount Everest, which is something insane. What are the worst fears from both of you? What hangs over you? Are there any?
I'm one of those people that's just fearless. You know, you just have to commit and take the outcome as it comes.
I love that.
Yeah, I think it's how we approach mortality, in that we're all going to die. That's a fact. But I think it's a lot more awesome if it happens while doing something amazing than as opposed to crossing the streets or parking next to an ATM while it gets. Never mind.
Yeah, no, but 100%. No, but
so it's a case of, I think we fully understand the risks, we fully understand mortality, and it's around managing that. I think for some people in my family, the fact that we walk into the North Pole and dodging polar bears is probably more scary than the fact that we're climbing high mountains. And we're also looking for ways to manage objective risk. So Everest, for example, we're doing from north side. eliminating the Kumbu icefall and the stuff that we can't manage. So there is one little bit on Everest, about 200 meters below the summit, a 70-meter stretch where you're on a fairly precarious ledge, and if you get it wrong there, it's a fairly long free fall. That bit scares me, but you know, the rest, as I say, it's just a case of believing in yourself, believing in the process, and believing in each other.
You guys are in it together. If I know you, I think you'll crush this. Absolutely love it. I'd just love to be a fly on the wall for those conversations when you get into the real hard yards. But guys, we are behind you 100%. We're going to have all of your details up on screen. Please update us as often as you can. Stay safe. We love you. This is going to inspire a lot of people. Eric, thank you so much, and good luck, guys.
Thank you so much.
Please don't break a leg. Please don't break a leg. Time now for the news.
In the national news this morning, an Eskom spokesperson says messages doing the rounds on social media warning of power cuts tomorrow to coincide with a confirmed one-day strike are false. Khulu Pasiwe says the strike will be illegal as the power utility has been declared an essential service provider. Hundreds of security guards working in the money transportation industry marched in major cities across South Africa yesterday after a spate of brazen heists that have rocked the industry and the country in recent months. They are calling for more visible policing and increased reaction times to robberies. Now moving further abroad, a tree regarded as the icon of the African savanna is dying in mysterious circumstances. International scientists have discovered that most of the oldest and largest African baobab trees have died over the past 12 years, and they suspect their demise may be linked to climate change. And then finally, US President Donald Trump says his historic talks with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un that ended in a joint agreement were tremendous. The signed document includes a pledge from Kim to rid the Korean peninsula of nuclear weapons. Well, that was your 6:30 news update. I'll have a full bulletin for you at the top of the hour.
Just touching on those major sporting headlines this morning in rugby, South Africa's run to the Under-20 Rugby World Championship final came to an end last night as they suffered an agonising 32-31 loss to England in the semi-finals. In cricket, the Proteas women's cricket team, they fell to a 69-run defeat to England in Hoppy, Sussex yesterday. The series now tied at 1 apiece. The decider, their third ODI, takes place this coming Friday. In football, the final round of international friendlies before the World Cup took place last night as Poland beat Lithuania 4-0, while Japan downed Paraguay by 4-2. And news off the pitch in football, European football giants Real Madrid have named Julen Lopetegui as their new head coach following the departure, of course, of Zinedine Zidane. More on all of those stories on the top of the hour right now. Let's get a traffic update.
Well, let's take a quick look at the roads in the Western Cape and Gugulethu. There's been an accident on the N2 inbounders before Borchards Quarry Road. It's blocking that emergency lane, so please approach with caution. I'll bring you another update in half an hour.
More than a club, more than an appliance brand. Defy.
Let's quickly run you through those Wednesday temperatures. It's time for your weather, and it looks like most parts of the country can expect moderate to warm temperatures, and that's as a result of that cold front that is approaching, that's hoping to make landfall by tomorrow over the Western Cape. Hopefully also bringing with it some rain. Your temperatures, Polokwane 5 minimum, reaching a high of 20 degrees. Mbombela 9.26, Pretoria 5.18, Johannesburg 4 and a high of 17, Mahikeng 4.20, Klerksdorp 3 minimum with a maximum 19, Kimberley 5.20, Bloemfontein around 0, reaching a high of 18, Richards Bay 14.26, Pietermaritzburg 8.25, Durban 15.25, Mthatha starting off on 4 minimum, your maximum 24, East London 17.30, Cradock 5.23, Port Elizabeth 13.26, George on 17, reaching a high of 28 degrees. Sutherland 7.17, Cape Town 12.23, Worcester 11 and a high of 26 degrees. Springbok 9.26 and Uppington on 10 minimum, reaching a mild maximum of 24 degrees. That's a wrap of your weather and your temperatures for your 6:30 bulletin. We'll keep you updated. I'm back just after 7.
Oh man, so we are busy having a chat about probably one of the craziest things, and this is bearing in mind that I've just interviewed two incredible people who are going to be summiting the 7 summits, or at least the highest summits on 7 different continents. This terrifies me more, in fact. While most South Africans have been avoiding swimming pools and beaches due to the cold weather, our next guests will be diving headfirst into Cape Town's icy waters in aid of others, which we do love, to raise funds for the Philippi Children's Centre in Cape Town. Sean Milford and Robert Peters have decided to take on the Island 2 Bays Challenge, which will see them swim across the 7-kilometre Robben Island Channel before completing a 53-kilometre run. It's insane, first of all. What's wrong with you guys, man? Sean, I know you to be quite a sober-minded. Normally we'd be talking about rugby in the safe space. What is going on, dude?
Well, I'm going to blame Rob on this. It was his idea and his baby, and he came to me the one day, and we've always been looking to do a little something, and he said to me, excuse me, that he's found out what he wants to do, and we spoke about it briefly over a braai, and that was it.
Oh, didn't take much in the end. So yeah, Sean's always up for a challenge, so I figured I'd throw it out there. Didn't tell him exactly what it was at first.
You lied to him about the distance as well, I hear.
Yeah, lies a strong word. I think I got it a bit wrong, but yeah, it's a couple more kilometres than I thought, but I think we'll be all right.
Oh man, I've swum about 5 meters in this water, and it is cold, it's challenging. You've got so many other factors that are weighing, and it's not just about how fit you are. How are you preparing, and how are preparations going?
So none of us have done anything, a swim and a run of this magnitude sort of together. So, you know, we're trying to manage a marathon training program, and obviously we're going to be pushing a little bit further than that, but incorporating swimming with it as well. So our off days aren't really off days, and we're trying to zap some swimming in as well.
There are no off days, yeah.
But, you know, the big thing is making sure we're spending enough time in the cold water to make sure we're good and ready, and getting the kilometres in the water and on the road.
Do you realise this is like the 2 oceans pretty much?
That's pretty much. Look, I mean, it's obviously a huge distance, and I don't think either of us really know what we're getting into until we're in it. But look, it's for a great cause, and I think that's really what pushes you through. When you don't want to train, when you don't want to get into the pool or into the sea, you've got that weighing on you that, you know, you're doing this for a reason. So I think that obviously helps a hell of a lot.
It's an amazing motivation, but you've got to make it work for that cause. It's not just about doing it in the spirit.
Exactly.
How do you activate something like this? How do we support you in your efforts, and talk us through that side of the program?
I think there are a couple of ways. There's obviously moral support. So I mean, we want...
I'm right there with you, bro.
We want as many people out there with us as we can get. You know, we're calling on people to join us on the swim, join us on the run,